The repairs of the roofs of our medieval houses have sped up a little bit and were getting more complex lately. We did several things at once and had a roofing company joining in as well. Our part was to set up the timber structure. As the damages of the old roof were now repaired, the new task was to make 7 dormers in very different sizes and designs, and to build a passageway between the 2 roofs with a crosswise gable. We started with the northern house because we wanted to reinstall some of the old tiles from the southern roof directly to the northern roof. This is a small gable dormer. Its top plate are extensions of the collar beams in the main roof. On all rafters we nailed paneling that will be visible from the inside. This is a shed dormer, lower but wider. It's simply laid onto the rafters. The rafter in the middle had to be cut open, but it is supported by the top plate under the collar beams. For the biggest 2 gable dormers I had to hire more carpenters because it really was a lot of work. Setting up the big perpendicular gables was easier than I had anticipated. The joinery I had made turned out really convenient for putting everything loosely together first and fixing it later with dowels. And the mortises the kids made were really precise. After that encouraging work on this gable dormer, we set out to make another, almost identical one on the opposite side of the house. Parallel to this work, my helpers worked on the paneling. From the inside it really looks amazing, with a vague resemblance to a cathedral. By the way, we have a really nice one here. Here the paneling of the southern roof is already covered with a vapor barrier. On top of that goes the 14 cm thick insulation. Counter battens are screwed parallel onto the rafters. They finally hold the battens. The new roof is then 20 centimeters thicker than the old construction. With all the battens in place, it's very pleasant to be able to climb all across the roof, having really unique viewpoints. Now the southern roof has to lose its last old tiles. Here the good ones of the very old handmade tiles are stored directly onto the battens to reuse them on the northern roof. Re-roofing with clay tiles unfortunately involves some work with the angle grinder and a lot of dust. Then the battens of the southern roof were completed. It's nice to see professional workers using exactly the method you would choose yourself, but I have to admit that they usually have better tools. Meanwhile, we were working on the outside paneling of the dormers and the passageway. I very much like traditional paneling with wide boards and relatively small strips for covering the gaps. And we all thought that deep red would be a nice color for all the outside paneling. Yes, this is another advantage of having a roofing company on the spot. A bit later than we had hoped, but a lot earlier than we had feared, the northern roof was as good as done. 2 days before Christmas. Because we didn't have time to make a proper topping out, I decided to decorate the ridge at least with a Christmas tree.